Steven Universe is dead! I mean, it's been some time since Steven Universe Future has concluded, and thus leaving the franchise a completed series on Cartoon Network. However, for a lot of animation fans, Steven Universe was the big show that everyone talked about, sharing their fan art, theories, and, of course, memes. But real talk, so many friendships not only form, but stay alive through the discussion of these cartoons. Steven Universe was an experience that was shared by millions of people. And now that it's over, although I'm chillin', I can see why a lot of people are, truthfully, kinda scared or lost. Because the end of Steven Universe means so much more than just the end of the television series. All the relationships forged over the show, what could happen to them? What will serve as a place for escapism while also having its characters being able to relate to the audience in weirdly specific ways in every facet of their life? And a not so heavy but somehow bigger question, what cartoon will just be fun to watch but keep viewers invested in the story and figuring out what happens next? Today I want to take a look at all the serialized cartoons on the landscape right now and ask the question, what will be the next big story cartoon? And for those out there who are inevitably going to say, what about the episodic shows? Why do cartoons need a story to be big? Look, I hear ya, I believe those cartoons are of quality as well, like shout out to Craig the Creek and Big City Greens, although Craig the Creek is clearly building up to something. Somehow I now have theories on that show, but the sentiment remains, episodic cartoons do rule, but story-driven cartoons with lore and world building and something that is clearly building up to, it's just easier for people to invest their time in, and honestly, easier to just get other friends into. Look, if you love animation, then you just love animation. That's nothing to be ashamed about no matter how old you are. But let's be real and honest with ourselves. If people do want to see animation being recognized in the mainstream beyond the Rick and Mortys and the Big Mouths, we kinda need them to be serialized or else they won't stand out to those who just see it as kids entertainment, nothing of substance being offered. It's not like having a story automatically makes a show good or that a show is immune from ever falling from grace because it has a story. People dunk on Star for falling off all the time now, but a show coming out of the woodwork, making it known that it has something to say, will always generate more discussion around the show and what will happen next. Alright, this intro has gone on long enough. Time to figure out which showrunner is going to inherit Rebecca Sugar's stress levels. And I want to start with... Gravity Falls, Gravity Falls, Gravity Falls. Alright, now that I got your attention, The Owl House is a horror comedy created by Dana Terrace, whose works do include Gravity Falls and DuckTales 2017. And boy do those influences show in the best way possible. The Owl House follows a teenage girl named Luz, who, in an admittedly preachy first episode, finds the cards stacked against her because her mother and pretty much everyone in her life thinks that she's behaving a little too much, that her active imagination is getting her in way too much trouble, and that she's, weird. So right before being sent off to a summer camp meant for, normalizing people, but not in the way we should be normalizing people. Does that make sense? Okay, analysis her stuff, she chases the owl and she ends up in the demon realm. Quickly befriends a witch named Ida who has a bounty on her head, and a tiny Bill Cipher sounding demon named King. Feeling that she fits in better in the demon realm, despite not being a witch herself, Luz decides to spend her summer here as she's trained under Ida. Now, because the purpose of this video is to introduce you guys into new story-driven cartoons, I feel as if some spoilers are necessary because if it sounds interesting to you, then you probably want to be on for the full ride, and a lot of these shows are just beginning. So if you just want to hear general things I like about the Owl House but want to stay relatively spoiler-free, click to this timestamp. Anyways, what is this show really about so far? Well, Luz ends up befriending two witches around her age, Gus and Willow, who attends Hexside School of Magic. Yeah, it is kind of like Hogwarts mixed with the ninja school Naruto went to in Konoha. The courses at Hexside is split into 9 tracks, 9 different types of magic that a user can learn. Initially, Willow is in the Abomination track, with her longtime rival, and Luz's blatant love interest based off the newer episodes, Amity Blight, the star student who's great at everything she does. But she kinda has a lot going on. Kinda like me explaining the show. Willow is initially in the Abomination track, but gets switched over to plant magic as she seems to hold immense latent power that works well with that type of magic. Meanwhile, Gus, who loves humans, he even leads the Human Appreciation Club until status quo change, practices illusion magic. God, it looks so cool. All of the tracks have currently been revealed because because of Disney's social media marketing, but I really can't wait to see them unfold in the series. Students at Hexside can also join covens. However, Ida never joined a coven because a witch's access to other forms of magic is sealed away. It's one of her many crimes to make her a wanted criminal in the eyes of Emperor Belos. To make matters even worse, Ida's sister Lilith is a part of the Emperor's Coven. And despite Ida's hard-headed nature, she wants to help her sister. Because if Ida doesn't listen to reason, Lilith will have to bring her into Emperor Belos. Also, Ida has a curse. Let's just say she's not called the Owl Lady for nothing. And whoever cursed her is blocked from her memory. And already, the curse is getting out of control. Also, remember Luce? Hi Luce. Luce figures out her own way to do magic. Also, she initially gets banned from Hexside for masquerading as one of Willow's abominations, but thanks to shenanigans with Gus, and Ida actually giving a shit about Luce, the ban has been lifted and our girl has been enrolled to Hexside for next semester, already setting up future events. What I love about the show is its art style. The backgrounds are so distinct, yet reminding a little bit of Gravity Falls, and you just can't go wrong there. However, the characters are like a perfect blend of the modern animation style and influences from various anime. The characters have a mainstream shonen look in some of their features, namely the eyes. I adore how much the show incorporates action. It's something that's been missing from a lot of animated series for a very long time. Yes, I know we still have action shows like Rise of the TMNT and Glitch Techs, but we know the crew of shows in the 2010s have given a push to incorporate more action into these cartoons and make it more of a normalized thing, especially in serialized series. Not only does the Owl House feature action frequently, but it usually looks great, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention the animation. My oh my, the animation. A lot of the time, as your typical Disney fanfare, some episodes are hand-drawn, some episodes are more so motion-tweened. But it feels like there's a moment in every episode where the episodes have some sweet animation, and lo and behold, they're typically animated in-house, which means that animation wasn't done overseas. And you can tell. I'm sure there's been plenty of, oh my god, is that James Baxter comments from people who think this scene in Change Your Mind was 60 frames per second. Nah, I'm just goofing. You can currently find the Owl House on Disney Channel and Disney Now, and the first season will be added to Disney Plus after it finishes airing on TV. Trust me, I don't think anybody wanted that but the higher ups in charge. Next up, and I'll try to go faster with these, is Infinity Train, a show literally brought to life by the internet, a masterclass of mature topics and themes that is executed almost flawlessly every single episode. It is a game changer for Cartoon Network, and just as you would expect, no one on the internet gives it enough love. What the actual hell? Why did we get this show greenlit if no one was gonna talk about it? There is no show like Infinity Train. It is truly Cartoon Network's equivalent of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures and Doctor Who. Why? Because every 10 episodes is the start of a new book, which features a new protagonist. That's right, it's an anthology series. However, there is clearly a bigger overarching story at play, as evident from Book 2, which follows up on plot points from Book 1, while also setting up more that is not resolved within that tale. The Infinity Train is a never-ending train where each train car is an entirely new dimension, a brand new world. But the train itself is also its own world with its own rules. It's inhabited by passengers who have a fluctuating glowing green number on their hand. Wonder what that's about. And they have to earn a door back home or die trying. Book 1 follows Tulip. Book 2 follows this Chrome Girl. What's that about? Click to this timestamp if you want to avoid spoilers. Something that blew me away about Infinity Train Book 1 is that it gave us answers at a steady pace. The show confirms halfway through Book 1 without really saying it out loud that the number on a passenger's hand needs to go down and hit 0. Hitting 0 is how you get your door home. If it rises, it typically means you either did an immoral thing or something that pushes you in the opposite direction that you need to learn. Our first protagonist, Tulip, is on here to escape the divorce of her parents after running away from home. She meets 1-1, a robot that can split into two with two different personas that has no memory of who they are or where they came from, just that they need to find their mom. Spoiler alert, 1-1 is the true conductor. His mom is the train's engine. They also befriend Atticus, a talking corgi who's king of Corginia. Initially, Tulip is searching for the conductor, unaware that 1-1 is the true conductor. But the conductor during Tulip's stay is Amelia, a passenger who ended up on the train as she was trying to avoid the death of her loved one. And after overthrowing 1-1, she became hell-bent on creating a car where her loved one Ulrich is still alive. Ultimately, she gets defeated by Tulip, Tulip returns home, and One Run resumes as conductor. However, there's book 2. You see, during book 1, there's an episode called The Chrome Car, where Tulip's reflection literally separates from herself, manifesting in reality as a chrome girl named Mirror Tulip, or MT. However, she denounces herself as just Tulip. She's so much more than that. She's her own person with her own life, and she wants to make her own memories. So in book 2, that's where it's all about. MT on her own trying to figure out her own identity, but she's on the run from the mirror police, because mirror people having their own independence is against mirror law. So as we dive into this deep existential crisis, MT encounters Jesse, a passenger on the train who's a pushover. He always gives in to what other people want. Luckily, MT pushes him in the right direction as they embark on the journey that proposes the question, are denizens their own people? Can they get off the train? What constitutes a real person? And this book introduces a pretty big fallout from book 1, the Apex. Passengers who believe the train belongs to them. They believe Amelia was the true conductor, and that 1-1 is just a fraud. You're not supposed to get your numbers down, it has to go up. You need to get the highest score. Yeah, that's some pretty crazy shit, and the Apex are not dealt with in book 2. The door is very much left open for more, and that's a good thing because I want to know more about their leaders, Grace and Simon, who, aside from Amelia, who's absent all of book 2, hold the highest numbers on the Infinity Train. What I love about Infinity Train is its ability to just go into topics full force. They do not hold any punches, they don't hold back, they don't hold your hand. It's also not afraid to surprise you with death on both sides. Good guys and bad guys die. We're back to non-spoilers now, so I hope no spoiler visuals are on screen. The fact each book has a new protagonist opens so much more possibility, so many different stories, so many different characters that come from different walks of life. I think they can just go in with so much here, and it constantly keeps the show fresh. The train cars are so full of imagination that it's insane. I could not applaud the writers and crew enough. Please give Infinity Train a watch. It should all be on the Cartoon Network app, and it will be streaming on HBO Max coming at the end of this May. And according to the creator Owen Dennis, it is very important that you stream books 1 and 2 when HBO Max launches that first weekend. Wait, did I mention Infinity Train was created by Owen Dennis? Infinity Train was created by Owen Dennis. He worked on Regular Show and Close Enough, even though Close Enough's not out yet. Go follow him on Twitter. Why do I have more followers than him? No, give him the clout. He's the one making good TV shows, not me, even though I want to. Alright, I gotta start this next one with a call out. I'm sorry, y'all, but I know why the show is not nearly as big as it should be, and it's because you guys all think, oh, frogs, that's not interesting. Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. Amphibia is a Disney animated series created by Matt Brawley, who worked on all of Gravity Falls, briefly worked on Steven Universe Season 1, and before working on TV, he actually worked on Turbo. Remember Turbo? I remember Turbo. Amphibia follows the adventures of a girl named Anne, who's peer pressured by her 2 dickhead friends into stealing a music box, which transports Anne to Amphibia, a magical frog world inhabited by talking frogs, and toads, and other amphibians. Look, okay, it's pretty awesome. A fellow YouTube colleague, Wasp Ranger, aka It's Only Magic, described Amphibia best saying, "It's Fantasy Simpsons done right." Is that shade to another show that's more blatantly Fantasy Simpsons? I don't know, you tell me. I didn't say anything, he didn't say anything, I'm not putting anyone's words in anyone's mouth. I'm just presenting a statement. I don't care for Disenchantment though. This show is hilarious and surprisingly heartfelt. Like, I know that's to be expected, but it really do be pulling at the heartstrings. But what's the story really about? I'll tell ya. Skip to this timestamp if you don't want any spoilers. I mean it, I really mean it. Listen, I think Amphibia has one of the best plot twists of these cartoons, just because I love when a show is like, actually, what you just watched has now an additional new context to it. Isn't that neat? So Anne lives with Sprig, Polly, and Hop Pop. Hop Pop being the elderly man who takes care of the kids. Also, he's voiced by Bill Farmer. Goofy? Hell yeah. Also, Anne's voiced by Brenda Song. Lyndon Tipton? Hell yeah. Well, remember the whole music box thing? One, Hop Pop is familiar with what it is. Apparently, it's the Calamity Box. That sounds like it's bad, bad, bad. So Hop Pop steals the box from Anne and buries it behind her back. God, the drama, I love it. But also, both of Anne's friends were taken to Amphibia with her. We have no idea where Marcy is, but Sasha? Oh ho ho ho, Sasha. She's able to manipulate her way into second command for the Toads, led by the sinister Grime, who grows a soft spot for Sasha. What do the Toads want? Well, the assassination of Hop Pop? Yeah, as it turns out, the Toads control a lot, but Hop Pop's miscellaneous actions throughout random episodes of the first season actually have been inspiring other villages under the commands of the Toads to rebel, which will actually be the focus of season 2, as concept art strongly indicates that Anne, Sprig, Polly, and Hop Pop will be traveling to these other villages, meeting these other amphibians that Hop Pop have inspired, and likely figure out a way to defeat the Toads once and for all. But now that Anne has had a reunion with Sasha, I don't know if they want to be classified as friends anymore. Sasha's with the Toads, Anne is with the frogs. They have a sword fight. Sasha almost like willingly dies, letting go of Anne's grip as she falls to her demise, as Lean On Me is playing. This show, why is it so good? But you probably should rewatch the entire series because I'm not doing nearly enough justice to those scenes. I'm just throwing out plot points out there because I know you motherfuckers love lore. Spoilers aside, this show looks gorgeous. A lot of the scenes set at night are like wallpaper material. If you're looking for beautiful fantasy backgrounds, Amphibia has you covered. Again, it is hilarious. The jokes never stop rolling out, and I feel like a lot of them just constantly land, so you're always busting your gut. The villagers of Wartwood are so full of life and are so distinct from one another that I would argue that is truly the most memorable cast of characters of the 2010s cartoons. 2020s now, huh? I can't wait to see more of this show. I can't wait to learn about Marcy, holy cow. And season 2 seems to be poised to be more plot driven, and if the Owl House is any indication, it might air weekly, y'all. You can catch season 1 of Amphibia on Disney+. Season 2 is slated to begin broadcast this summer, but with the whole pandemic corona thing, you just don't know what's gonna happen. I hope you all give it a watch. Alright, so this video's already gone longer than I wanted to, so although I could do a volume 2 or a part 2, let me just throw out some other quick recommendations. I hear the new DuckTales reboot is splendid, and I know it's definitely story driven. Every time it's been on television and I just put it on, they're always in the middle of something big in the story. I see genuine plot advancement. There's aliens. They made the Goofy movie canon. Like every Disney Afternoon character is there. What the hell? It's pretty awesome. Final Space. Don't sleep on Final Space. The first season is a bit rough around the edges, but for an adult animated series, it is incredible to get a serialized story, knowing there's an end goal in mind, and that it doesn't have to rely on sex and swearing, because it recognizes that adult humor is so much more. The biggest complaint I hear is that the main character, Gary, is kind of insufferable in the first season, and I know as a main character, that does sound like a deal breaker, but I promise he gets better with time. And the creator, Olin Rogers, is actually another YouTuber. Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast, please check this out, it's on Netflix. And the final season of She-Ra is dropping soon too. But, I don't know, that's all I really got, folks. What do you think the next story cartoon will be? Personally, I think it's gonna be Owl House, anime, magic. It's doing a great job of world building. It's constantly reminding the audience that, hey, yeah, we're story driven. It just makes sense to me. But drop your thoughts down below or tweet them to Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at ArtWithKoda. We're also on Instagram. Special thanks to ARTWITHKODA for creating an awesome thumbnail. For more of his wonderful art, you can find him on Tumblr and Instagram at ARTWITHKODA, and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Link down below in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. ArtWithKoda, signing out.